Hello everyone, my name is Caleb King, and this week I will be discussing a key aspect of the 1925 Scopes trial, the role of expert testimony and the rules of evidence. This trial was significant not just for its legal outcome, but for its broader cultural and ideological implications. It became a flashpoint in the Fundamentalist-Modernist Controversy, raising questions about the role of religion, science, and the law in American society. One of the most contentious issues in the trial was whether expert testimony on evolution should be admissible in court. The defense, led by Clarence Darrow, sought to introduce expert witnesses to explain the scientific basis of evolution. Their argument was that the jury needed to understand what evolution actually was to fairly judge whether Scopes' teaching was justified. However, the prosecution, led by William Jennings Bryan, strongly opposed this move. Bryan and his team argued that the trial was not a debate on evolution's validity, but a simple legal case whether Scopes had violated Tennessee's Butler Act, which prohibited the teaching of evolution. According to an article in the Nome Nugget from July 18, 1925, the judge ruled in favor of the prosecution and excluded expert testimony, arguing that it was not relevant to the legal question at hand. This decision shaped the rest of the trial by preventing a broader scientific discussion in court. The Scopes trial quickly became a national media event, attracting journalists from across the country. A New York Times article from July 10, 1925, described how Dayton, Tennessee was highly energized leading up to the trial. The case was widely covered in newspapers, radio broadcasts, and public debates, with both sides using the trial to promote their views. Fundamentalists, led by Bryan, saw the trial as a defense of traditional Christian teachings and the right of the state to determine what is taught in public schools. Modernists, including Darrow and his supporters, viewed this case as a fight for intellectual freedom and scientific progress. The media often framed this case as a battle between faith and reason, though this oversimplified the deeply held convictions on both sides. A Washington Post article from July 12, 1925, highlights Bryan's legal strategy. Bryan argued that allowing expert testimony would shift the trial's focus away from the law itself. He contended that the jury's role was not to evaluate the merits of evolution, but simply to determine whether Scopes had broken the law. From a legal standpoint, Bryan's argument was rooted in the idea that the trial should focus on the defendant's actions in relation to existing laws, not on a broader philosophical debate. On the other hand, Darrow believed that discussing evolution was crucial because it would help the jury understand why the law might be problematic. While Scopes was ultimately found guilty in this court case in this trial and fined $100, the trial's long-term impact went beyond the verdict. For fundamentalists, the ruling affirmed their belief that the teaching of evolution in schools should be controlled by the state. For modernists, the trial was seen as a step toward greater public awareness and acceptance of evolutionary science. Decades later, legal challenges would revisit these issues, including Epperson v. Arkansas in 1968, in which the Supreme Court ruled that bans on teaching evolution were unconstitutional. The debates over science, education, and religious beliefs in public schools continue even today. The Scopes trial was a pivotal event in American legal and cultural history. While the exclusion of expert testimony shaped the trial's immediate outcome, the broader debate over the role of religion and science in education continued well beyond Dayton, Tennessee. This case reflects an ongoing discussion about who gets to decide what is taught in public schools and how laws balance religious and scientific perspectives. Thank you for watching.